So with the release and end of the raffle event, they ended up dumping like a bunch of half-billion coin items into the economy, and one of those being a ton of judgment cores, which resulted in Quartz going up in price because of investors. And then after this, they decided to add 3 new meta weapons to dungeons, which obviously one of them had to require Quartz, making the price fly up even more. The prices ended up at around 5.4 thousand per enchanted Quartz, making this method make over 40 million coins per hour, which is absolutely insane. Speaking, it requires literally no setup to do. Now, after the update drop, which dropped like 3 days earlier than I was expecting, which kind of made me very mad. Not kind of, it did make me very mad. Anyways, after the prices absolutely plummeted from the update dropping, they stayed there for a little bit until Jerry came into office. Now, with Jerry, he obviously cycles through every single mayor, which means Aatrox. And Aatrox means slayers. And there's no better time to do slayers other than Jerry Aatrox because the stat boost and its 3 perk Aatrox. So once again, Quartz started to fly up in price, and that's where it's at now. It's still an easy 30 to 35 million coins per hour at the time of recording this, 1.2 million collection per hour, and around 500,000 experience per hour, at least with my setup, which is absolutely insane. Speaking, it requires no setup and little to no gear to do. Also, before I start talking about mining Quartz, I just have to point this out. Minder has been making fun of my sub count ever since he won the sub war, which was 4 months ago, and he hasn't uploaded in 3 weeks because he's been playing Rocket League every day. So please subscribe so Minder can finally stop making fun of my sub count, and I will also be 1 subscriber closer to YouTube rank if you subscribe, so that would also be really cool. Because just imagine Slipyboi YouTube rank, that would look so amazing. Anyways, on to the new cringe mining method that everybody's gonna start doing. Firstly, what makes this method so good is that it virtually requires absolutely nothing to do, and it's only buffed by fortune. So it's essentially a very low entry obsidian that makes more money. And typically, depending on prices, enchanted quartz blocks will be worth more money, and then you can just put them up as a sell offer and they will eventually fill. Usually it's around 30 minutes, but sometimes it goes longer. Alright, so firstly, when you're mining quartz is actually where you mine. Now, there's not many videos covering quartz, but all the videos that I've seen, every single one shows you the wrong spot to mine. When you enter the Crimson Isles, you want to follow this little tunnel down to the quartz mining area, and then you want to mine these 3 specific veins. Now, to be more specific, I will call this pillar, which is basically from the entrance, you will see this giant pillar in the middle with probably a lot of magma cubes over here. You want to mine this vein, and this vein. It doesn't matter how you do it. You could do it this way too. It doesn't matter which way you do it. I just found this spot to be way better compared to this spot. The way that these 3 veins are set up, it allows you to just hold down left click without TPing anywhere, which ultimately does increase your rates by quite a bit. Now, I guess you can mine the other veins, but for me at least, with Efficient Miner 100 and 2 Force Mineral, the rates are a lot slower because you just run out of room, and just overall it slows stuff down. For what to do with the magma cubes, the simple way to get rid of these is to just fling them away with an aspect of the dragons. If you are worried about them aggroing you, you aren't technically hitting them, so they don't actually aggro you if you use an AOTD on them. An extra thing you can do is corrupt them with a Totem of Corruption. This makes griefers or just people grinding bestiary leave them alone. Now for your Heart of the Mountain tree and your armor, the tree you want to use is just a universal tree that's meta for most methods, and if you don't have enough powder to max mining speed, you literally only need about 2.5k speed to insta-mine, so it doesn't really matter. And then for your armor, the best for quartz would be 2 Force Mineral and 2 Force Divan, so you get a good balance of fortune and blocks. But I'm pretty sure to maximize quartz, 1 Force Mineral and 3 Force Divan is slightly better, but they're basically the exact same. The only time you might want to use 2 Force Mineral over 1 Force is if your efficient miner is decently low, like below 70. 2 Force Mineral might benefit you so you can mine more blocks, but otherwise 1 Force Mineral is still meta. The last big optimization I would say is a epic or higher tier kuudra pet, because the kuudra pet, if it's rare or higher, has this cool passive ability that gives you mining fortune on the Crimson Isles. The only reason I'm saying epic and not rare is because the epic gives 100 mining fortune at level 100 and a rare gives 50 mining fortune. Now right now I use a rare pet and I've done 50 mil collection with it, so I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I would recommend it. Now, if you don't have divan armor and you have sorrow or something, you can still easily do quartz and still make relatively decent money, because at that stage of the game, you're not making that much money doing any other things, but I just wouldn't recommend this because you could be doing other things at that stage of the game. Alright, finally, for some obvious but notable things, preferably you want to mine at 400 speed, and if you run out of room, just like make room. It's pretty simple, and this should be really obvious, but if you have divan armor and you don't have topaz slots, you do not need topaz for quartz. And same thing, if you have a universal slot, you don't need topaz, just replace it with jade. It's a lot better. Now, since quartz is so simple, there's not really much I can say. I will probably be finishing 100 million quartz collection. I'll update any sort of improvements, but it's very simple, so there will probably be none. So yeah, that's about all there is for quartz.